Bitcoin is going to 700,000 USD per coin. Now I know that sounds crazy, but I can prove it. And you're never going to guess which country is secretly going to be responsible for Bitcoin skyrocketing. It's Switzerland. That's right. In March 2022, the country that is everyone's friend and famous for blonde skiing and banking is single-handedly going to be the country that launches Bitcoin to over 700K. And here's why. Welcome to Crypto Matters, your trusted source for all matters on crypto. If you think crypto matters, you don't want to miss out, hit that subscribe button and ping that notification bell. Now, before I show you why the Swiss are going to be the reason Bitcoin hit 700K, let's take a look at the current chart. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at about 40,502 after taking a dip from 41K. This week, Bitcoin's been on a bit of a bull run thanks in large part to the US inflation and the Russia-Ukraine situation. Now remember that part, because it's going to be important later. Overall, it's down though from its all-time high of 67,553 per coin earlier in 2021. So a logical question is, why is it going to go from 41K to 700 grand per coin? Fair enough. Let me introduce you to someone who many of you probably know, Madame Cathie Wood. Now, in the off chance you don't know who Cathie Wood is, she's the CEO, CIO, and founder of ARK Invest. She's worth about 60 billion and famous for her hyper-risky stock picks and quite honestly making a big fortune off big tech companies like Microsoft, Tesla, and Coinbase. Anyways, in an article way back from Monday Morning on November 11, 2021, she actually outlined a fairly reasonable plan for Bitcoin to hit 700K coin. It seems it could even hit 500K as early as mid-2022. As a side note though, if Bitcoin does hit 700K coin, do you know how much Elon Musk coins will be worth? Tell us in the comments below if you know. Tesla's Elon Musk 42,902 Bitcoin would actually be worth over $30 billion. Anyways, I realize you may think Cathie's predictions to 500, even 700K are crazy, but please bear in mind, this is the same woman who's been buying Bitcoin since 2015. That's right, when it was below $500. She may not be so crazy after all, so listen up. Here's exactly what she predicted would need to happen in order for Bitcoin to hit 700K. Number one, global settlement network for both banks and businesses, and I quote, unlike traditional settlement systems, the Bitcoin network is global. It cannot censor transactions and its money cannot be inflated by institutions like central banks. Number two, big hint, and I quote, as a haven against the seizure of assets. You probably see where I'm going. But what the Swiss just did is gonna blow your mind. Number three, digital gold. You can verify it, no surprise to anyone here. And number four, it's a replacement currency for emerging markets and against inflation. No shocker, there may be many people throughout the world either never did or no longer trust their governments and their currencies. Now, let me spell out exactly why number two and number four are insanely important right now and why she may be right. If you haven't scrolled through TikTok or you're living under a rock this last year, you'd be well aware of the global uprising against tyrannical governments. Places like Canada, peaceful Canada, led a freedom convoy which led Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to call for the Emergencies Act and had tons of peaceful protesters arrested and their accounts frozen. Anyone who donated could have their entire funds frozen like that. Flocks of Canadians actually flooded their banks after this announcement was made to take out their funds, so much so that they actually crashed the bank's servers. Australia, the US, the UK, Italy, leading protests and finally opening back up. All over the world, people are waking up to the fact that you can't trust your government as much as you thought you did. Now, I'm not saying go revolt, but I am saying that people are finally waking up. Massive inflation is everywhere, just like Cathie Wood said would lead Bitcoin to rise. Gas prices are up 30 to 40%, some places even more in weeks. Groceries are skyrocketing, the Fed's jacking up the interest rates, and the USD is looking kind of shaky. Plus, with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, wait, This is actually where Switzerland comes in. While seemingly the entire world basically told Russia, you can take Ukraine, but like, you know, don't. Or like, we're gonna fine you, okay? And Putin was like, that's it? And moved in. Then the Swiss, those blonde, beautiful people did something so bold and shocking that Russia and the world never saw it coming. They froze Russian accounts. They did something that hadn't been done since the 40s. Swiss banks are only world renowned because of their safety against sanctions and government interference, and they finally stood up and froze all Russian oligarch money, which turned out to be nothing major. According to the NY Post from March 17th, 2022, it was only a small sum of about $213 billion. And when Cathie Wood said she thinks it'll hit 700K because, and I quote, it's a haven against the seizure of assets. Well, if regular Canadians flooded the banks to rush out their money, what do you think criminals do when the world's capital for money laundering starts freezing their accounts? All that money has to go somewhere, and where do you think they'll put it? Stocks? It was pretty traceable. Gold? Kind of tough to write off a giant secure bunker and armed guard salaries 24/7 on your taxes. So that's right, Bitcoin. It's safe, you can't inflate it, and you can't seize it. And that's why it's going to hit 700K a coin. Thanks for watching Crypto Matters. When do you think Bitcoin will hit 700K?